Hey there, welcome to this video and to my channel. This is Mae Renfroe here with you. And yeah, I honestly didn't think I was going to be doing a video again this soon for my last one. And like before the baby came, I didn't thought my last one was the last one until after our baby. But I had some inspiration kind of last night and overnight when I should have been sleeping. I was awake and I was thinking of these things, and I had this inspiration. I was like, I want to share this. I got up, I took my notes. I looked at the Bible verses that had came to mind to me and at night, and I've wrote them down, and so here we go. And I'm outside again where I like it. It's gonna get hot here really soon. It already kind of is. It's mid-morning-ish, but we're gonna go for it. So, kind of the title or what it's about is sometimes God saves us from something, other times He saves us in it. You know, and when God saves us in something instead of from something, He gets the glory. He gets, more glory and recognition. You can see Him at work, right, in these things, and He sees His hand evident in our lives. And, then we can see, He's at work. But when we are saved from something, we don't even know maybe something was going to happen, right? So that's what's neat. And I'm going to just start with some scripture in John 9 about where He healed this young man that was born blind from birth, and read about that, and so you can just see why he was born blind. It was kind of for that moment to bring God glory. And then I've got some really neat areas I'm going to read where God has didn't necessarily save people from something, but He saved them in it. So, okay, I want to start in John 9. Okay, John 9, starting in verse 1. And as Jesus passed by, He saw a man which was blind from his birth. And His disciples asked Him, saying, Master, who did sin, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus answered, Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of Him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. When He had thus spoken, He spat on the ground and made clay of the spittle, and He anointed the eyes of the man with the clay. And He said unto him, Go wash in the pool of Siloam, which is by interpretation sent. And he went his way, therefore, and washed, and came seeing. Wow. And then it goes a lot more about this, because, of course, the Pharisees and stuff were not happy about all that He had done and everything. And that the neighbors and the people that knew that this boy had been blind all his life thus far, and was now seeing, got here that it was God, and so here was God getting the glory. So here's exactly what He said. See, that's what Jesus says. It says, they wondered, well, who sinned? Why was he born this way? Jesus answered in verse 3, Neither hath this man sinned, nor his parents, but that the works of God should be made manifest in him. And sure enough, because He healed him in that moment, then people heard about what He did, and, more people are going to believe on God. So He could have, God had the power of when he was born to have saved him from being blind, but instead He saved him in it. He was blind kind of for that thing, so God got the glory. Now I'm going to be moving into Daniel 3 about the three men in the fiery furnace. All right, yeah, Daniel 3. I'm sure you're very familiar of the about the time, the story of this. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. King Darius had put up this big statue, and he wanted everyone to bow down at the sound of the music. Well, there was these three, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that of course were serving our God in heaven and would not bow to this, no matter what it cost them. So here we're going to read in verse 16. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar. Oh, sorry, this is Nebuchadnezzar. Okay. King Darius is with Daniel. We're getting to that one next. Okay, I had that name memorized. So I was like, I want to make sure I get the king's name right. No. Okay, sorry. So wrong story here. But yeah, it is with the big statue that they went him down. But King Nebuchadnezzar. Okay. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So he said, God can save us from this fiery furnace, but even not, we are not bowing down to you. We're serving our Most High God. Right? And then we're going to go over, so of course, they didn't bow down. They were thrown in. And this is some verses after the fact now that they were thrown in and they were protected in there. They kept safe from there. And in fact, it was the fourth in the fire with them, which was beautiful. Jesus, or an angel, was in the fire there with them, and that's beautiful. So read that story. It's in Daniel 3 verses 16 all the way, well, to the end of that chapter. But now I'm going to pick up in 28 and then to 30. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and delivered his servants that trusted him, and saved, and have changed the king's word, and have yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own God, their God. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amiss against God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego should be cut in pieces, and the houses should be made a dunghill, because there is no other God that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. So wasn't that beautiful? God could have saved them from that, from having even had, from being put in there. But instead he saved them in it. And then God got glory. If he had saved them from it, King Nebuchadnezzar would have never seen what God can do, right? But because they were saved in it, thrown in it, then God got to see, the King Nebuchadnezzar got to see what God could do, and he declared this to the nations. Isn't that beautiful? There's just so many reasons why God allows things to happen and allows us to go through things. And instead of saving us from it, he saves us in it. He gets the glory, and it brings many lives to him that way. Really beautiful. Okay, so now I'm turning to Daniel, the book of Daniel, chapter 6, about Daniel. Okay, so King Darius had... was it him that said, or the other peoples that was jealous of Daniel and seen him praying to God, and they said, King Darius, why don't you make this rule that everyone has to pray to you for so many days, because they wanted to get Daniel, in trouble, and if they don't obey, have him thrown into the lion's den. So he went and signed this thing. Okay, and of course Daniel kept praying to his God. Of course he did. He knew that his God could save him from the lion's den, but even if not, he still was not going to bow down to the king. He's praying to God, just like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They knew they could be saved from it. Even if not, they're still praying. They're still honoring God. So here we are in verse 16 in chapter 6. Then the king commanded, they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, Thy God, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought and laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet and with the signet of his lords, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Wow, so even the king actually says, Thy God whom thou servest continually, he'll deliver thee. Wow, so even though he had to throw him in there, but he was pretty confident yet that Daniel would be saved. He didn't have a good night's sleep that night. If you could read on, he didn't do well. He was very concerned. That we're going to pick up in verse 21. Then Daniel, verse 28. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living God, is thy God whom thou servest continually able to deliver thee from the lions? Then Daniel said unto the king, O king, live forever. My God hath sent his angel, and hath shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me. For as much as before him innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, I have done no hurt. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no manner of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his God. Wow. Okay, I think there's more here I was going to read, but wasn't that beautiful? Again, he wasn't saved, from the lion's den, but he was saved in it. And then King Darius got to see what our God can do. Then he got to see what our God can do. He wouldn't have got to see that. He wouldn't have seen and wouldn't have known, and wouldn't have been able to, kind of that been made known. So we're going down to verse 25. And then King Darius wrote unto the people, nations, and languages that dwell on all the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble and fear before the God of Daniel, for he is the living God and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. He delivers and rescues, and he worketh signs and wonders in heaven and earth, who had delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So this Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius and in the reign of Cyrus the Persian. Wow. Oh, isn't that beautiful? He's just declaring there. King Darius is declaring that our God delivers, and he rescues, and he works signs and wonders in heaven and earth, and he delivered Daniel from the lion's den. Here he's being able to declare this and make this known onto the nations, onto the peoples, because God didn't save him from it. He saved him in it. Isn't that beautiful? So there's a reason that we go, we're checking into things and go through things, and so that God can get the glory. So beautiful. Wow, there's lots of little noisy crickets or something around here. I hope it's not been too noisy. And so, now I'm thinking of, I know there's a lot more examples in the Bible of that. I'm sure you probably know some off the top of your head, and you're thinking, oh, what about this? Why didn't you mention this? Well, those are the ones I thought of, there's a lot more. I know that. So find those so that they can encourage you, and then look into your own life. And for us as well, in situations, I know we want to be saved from stuff naturally, that we don't want to go through this stuff, but then when we do, we can see God at work in it. And like, for instance, when we lost our son, God could have saved us from having lost our son. He could have totally prevented that, and everything, but I believe it was his time to go, and that's why, we lost our son in the four-wheeler accident in 2017, and that God could have saved us from it, but instead he saved us in it. We've seen his hand at work in so many ways in our lives, and his faithfulness and his goodness, and giving us strength, giving us joy, giving us peace, giving us comfort, and now I can share that with others. And it's been a testimony already, just from basically the day one when we lost him. When people see our faith in God and our trust, it was already being a testimony. It was already being a witness. God was already getting glory. So he could have saved us from losing our son, but he saved us, in it, through it. He's seeing us through, and he still is, because you lose a child and he's still gone. I mean, it's been 5 years. Time heals, God heals, but he's still gone. He's still missing. So he's still seeing us through it, and then I'm still being a witness. I'm being a witness and being I'm being a testimony through it, and in just so many ways. I don't know, at the funeral too. I mean, people had been commented that they could see our strength in God, and so wasn't that beautiful? And there's just so many things and areas in my life, that I can see that, we want God to rescue us from that moment, from that difficult, for instance, I'm about to have a new baby, and labor has always been quite hard for me. In one particular, I had to be induced from my last CU, and then my very last one was C-section, but, so not to go into details too much, but I'd already been given something to kind of start the induce. I was 2 weeks overdue, and that night, if things didn't happen overnight, they're going to give me something stronger, and okay, we're going to have this baby by morning, which of course is good if we have to do that, right? But I was hoping through the night that my body would start to do something with the first thing they gave me, and I was like, God, come on, you can do this. I know, I believe you can do this. Get this baby coming already. Don't make me wait till morning. And it didn't happen until morning, and they gave me something else, and it got really, really, really intense until we had the baby. But so what I'm saying that is just that, God didn't save me from, okay, miraculously, let's get this baby come just as soon as I wanted. But he was with me every step of the way, was neat. I kind of looking back on that, he gave me, I really experienced his peace going through the last stages of labor and that, and it was really rough. I felt his strength. I actually had less pain than I think I should have had. I was really surprised. I think it was either that birth or the other induction. It was like an hour. Usually I have much more pain for it. It was only the last hour and a half that was like really, I even was reading a book, and it was hard to concentrate through some of the severe, but I was doing that and doing different things that helped, and I was like, wow, God, I've seen God in it. Okay, he didn't save me from all that, but I've seen him in it. And just, situations like that. And then God gets the glory because you've seen what God did. If we're saved from things, we don't see that. So when we go through these things, we experience His goodness, His mercy, His faithfulness, His peace, His comfort, His hope. And we can look back through our lives and see that goodness and mercy followed us all the days of our life. Like in Psalms chapter 23, I'm sure maybe you're familiar with that one. If not, read it. Read such a good chapter and that thing, but all through, that chapter. But in the end, it says that surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. And we can look back and see, yes, God, goodness and mercy. Yes, we went through this. Yes, we went through that. But look at His goodness and mercy and His faithfulness. Look what He's done for us. Okay, turning to another note here. Other thing, I think we don't realize how much we are saved from. To a lot of things we see that we've gone through, and that if we would only realize what God has saved us from, like on a daily basis, we just don't see how His angels are guiding and surrounding and protecting us. We just don't see. But I think if we only seen all the things that He protects us from and is keeping us from, we'd be in awe. Like, I think, for instance, like every time we go on the road, right? I mean, how many accidents has He spared us from? How many situations, close calls that we've been in, and I'm sure that you can know you've been in and that God has saved you from, that you can see, whoa. And then as a parent of many children as well, if you're a parent, you've probably been to the ER a few times, and baby process been quite a few times, but mostly it's all been very minor things, very minor, and we just know it could have been worse, and so God saved us from, He saved us from so much, and then met us in the rest of the stuff that He did, things that did happen. He met us right there, and He was protecting, and we've seen His protecting hand, where, like I said, things could have been worse, like, wow, look what God did, so that's beautiful. I think that's why, like I said, that's why God can save us from things, or He just meets us in the middle of it, and then God gets the glory, and people come to Him. The people come to Him, and that's what we want, right? Such a God, we want people to come to Him. Oh, maybe we, would think, oh, if life was all rosy and everything went just the way we want, great. But would we be a testimony for Him? Not really, because, but when you're through things and people see that, like I read, and especially when He healed that, the blind man, that was the reason He did it, to bring Him glory. So read that in John 9. Read the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and read the story of Daniel, and find some more. And it's amazing. And look in your life and think about the things He saved you from. Like I said, then God's goodness and mercy was just, you can see, is evident in our lives, and now can be a testimony and a witness for Him. And that's what we're here for, to be a testimony and a witness for God. All right, just to finish this up here. Just, so those things in our lives that can seem bad, are just the very thing that God can use for His glory, for our good, ultimate good, for His glory, and can just be that thing that draws us closer to Him, be that thing that, I don't know, that was needed just to refine us, to grow us spiritually, to bring us places in life where God needs us to be able to do the things that He has for us. Because, like what we went through losing our son, I went to wrote the book that I wrote, obviously, about losing our son. It wouldn't be going out and helping people, in that way that it is, the potential it has to give hope. I wouldn't be as passionate, I think, for hurting people as I am because of my loss. That has really touched me. That's what's really shaped me spiritually in the last few years, that I really have a heart more, really a compassionate. That's why I started my grief group. We're over 440 members on my grief group now that I can reach out to. I do lives on there and different stuff, and just a way to share. Wouldn't be some other things, just so many things, that I'm wanting to be able to do now that it just never was on my heart. I don't know. I just never was very mission minded about that, but now it's just more so the last few years. I don't know, God's really done a work, and that's where I come to the passion of wanting to be able to speak and share my story and all these things that God has given me. I'm wanting to be involved in prison ministry as I can, homeless ministry. I just think it's so neat, and all these things that, so those things in our lives that seem bad, are just the very thing that God uses utilized for His glory, and so then our test can become a testimony, our tragedies can become triumphs, our messes becomes our message, and that's the way it is for you. Whatever it is that you've gone through, can be turned around and used for His glory. Don't think that was wasted, that was terrible. Even if it was things from your choices you made, that wasn't out of the blue and it wasn't out of your control, but you made these choices, whatever. God, He's a redeemer of all these. He's going to redeem that. He can turn that around for His good and His glory, and nothing has to be wasted. And you went through it. He's seen you through. You're through, and now to be used for Him. So, sometimes God saves us from things, but sometimes He saves us in it and through it, and He gets the glory. And one thing I think I'll just add here on the end, you may think, well, what about the person that we have lost? Okay, so he wasn't, our son, he died. Okay, so you might think we were saved, we weren't saved from losing him, but we were saved in it, through it. God was with us and helped us. But our son is now, we know that he did love the Lord. He's now in glory land. So in that way, God saved him up there. He's not with us, and we miss him terribly. And, and if he was here, he would be happy to be going through life and doing his things, but I think he's probably actually happier up there, because life isn't always smooth and nice, and we know the end is coming. It's going to be very rough, and a lot of more tribulation there is now in this world, and this world has pain and hurt, and he's up there with no more pain, no more sorrow, no more tears, no more. He's waiting for us. So in that way he is too. So on the other side, so you see from the other picture, even if when someone's lost, even when it's my time to go, you can't say, oh, God didn't save, He saved me up there now, with Him. So I guess that's the way to look at it. So okay, hope this has been encouragement to you. I just wanted to do this video, and stay tuned for more, and connect with me on my website and blog, and in the next one I should have a wee one. Okay, you can just pray for me. It goes well. But sometimes God saves us from things, and He saves us in the midst of it. Take care. God bless.